We've got Quick Kick to unbox and quickly review. Or maybe not too quickly, we don't want to rush our way through this one. This is our newest ninja for the G.I. Joe team. There are some interesting bits that we haven't seen on the Joe team in particular, so once we get him out of the box, we'll talk about those. So, are you ready? And here he is outside of the packaging. This is Quick Kick. There's not a whole lot to him. He is just a guy without a shirt on and a sash with some ninja stars in it. But that's not all we get in the pack. Let's get to the accessories and show you how those all work. Here is his backpack, and if you see there are two slots on the top, which go with his two swords. Now, I don't think these are like full-length swords, but they fit in the backpack nonetheless, and that's nice that he can carry those around with him. Now, if we're talking about the weapon set, the only other thing that he has are these nunchuck. And the funny thing is, I like the look of these nunchucks better than the nunchucks that went with the character nunchuck. And if I said the word nunchuck way too many times, you clearly haven't been paying attention too much to how many times the word nunchuck is in G.I. Joe. But these aren't going to be loose weapons either, because on the back of his belt, he has the same belt as nunchuck. So he can slot those in the back there, and they will stick very well. He also has a blast effect of sorts. He has this ice blue translucent action ninja star effect. And if you look, there is some subtle paint on the final star there, so when it's coming out of his hand, you can see the lead star being the one that's thrown, and this is just kind of the ghost effects because it's going so quickly. He has two sets of hands, one for the left and for the right. So they're both the same. I'm just going to show you one of each. He has this open knife hand, kind of karate chop, and he also has this closed punching fist. And again, they're for each hand, so you can swap those in and out as you like. Are you kind of impressed with how many accessories come with this guy? Because I am. This is just a normal base figure, and one of them is a chocolate bar. I believe this has some significance to the comic books or something like that. I'm not quite sure what it is, but hey, it's a 6-inch scale chocolate bar. I'm not going to say no to that. And then the final piece that comes with Quick Kick here is an alternate face sculpt. There is some subtle differences. So if we hold up this head and then we hold up this head, we'll get a little closer look at these at the table. It's just very subtle differences, but I think it's going to lend itself well to different scenes. Let's just give him a quick little test of all of the joints before we go over to the table, just to see if there's any problem areas I need to be looking out for. So for starters, he is not wobbly. This is a very good, sturdy figure from what I've seen so far. And his arms move. Yes, they move very well. The shoulders go up. All right, the shoulders go way up here. Let's test the butterfly joints. And the butterfly joints with the G.I. Joe Classified series has been getting quite a bit better. This one in particular does feel a little stiff, but you definitely get some of the crunch in. That's going to be very helpful for a ninja type character. And now we're going to do the legs. Yeah, the legs feel really great. The swivels. Swivel on this side is a little more stiff, but I think I just got it free. Yeah, that's going to be great from now on. And then there's like this undercut here with the shins, which is a really clever way of hiding that cut there, and I like that. And then also we have the rockers on the ankles. They go back, forward. Yeah, this looks like a good figure so far for posing. And if I wanted to, I could take the sash off. I just take off the head, remove the sash. If I wanted to, it does kind of give Quick Kick his Quick Kick look, because this is pretty classic. But it's not needed. It's just an option if you wanted it gone. I'm really curious about this, so I'm just going to put it into one of his trigger hands here and see what that looks like. I like that. I mean, this clearly isn't the most well thought out pose, but let's take him over to the table now, and we will get a better look at what Quick Kick can do, and put them all together with some of his accessories so that we can kind of see his accessory set and what that looks like for this guy. All right, and here we have Quick Kick. Let's get just a really close look at him. There he is. You can see all the definition in his muscles. Just because he doesn't have a commando outfit or some tactical vest doesn't mean that he can't look good as well. Interesting thing to note, the wraps around his wrists, though, those are molded on and painted on. They aren't those flexible pieces of plastic that we often see with a lot of G.I. Joes. So these things aren't going anywhere. They're going to stick with Quick Kick, which is good because the paint application on them looks decent. There are a few spots missed. Again, this is like really nitpicking on him. You're not going to be looking at that side of his hands too often. You're going to be looking at some of the poses that you're putting him in. Now, one of the challenges I'm guessing that they had with Quick Kick is that naturally he is just a very plain figure. And when you think about the G.I. Joe Classified line, there is a lot of embellishment. There's a lot of modernization, a lot of upgrades. When it came to Quick Kick, that might have been a definitely big challenge. You have to have the sash. I think that makes the character, but other than that, I think a lot is up for interpretation. They did some nice things with the pants. They did some really nice sculpting features, and the accessory set, I think, is part of what makes Quick Kick a little special, even though he is, admittedly, a more plain figure, but that doesn't make him a bad figure. This is the alternate face sculpt here. And what's interesting about it, it's a very subtle difference between the two. You can kind of see that his mouth is a little bit open, like he's focusing, like he's breathing, maybe meditating. Now with that, you can see on the back here that this bandana here is a little more windswept than this one. I don't know how this is going to affect the posability, but let's find out. In fact, let's just do it right now. I'll take off his thing. And you know what? I'm just going to take off his sash. I just want to see what he looks like without it. And there is the new head sculpt that we're going to put on. There we go. That is socketed on pretty well. Yeah, there we go. And there isn't a lot of side to side. If you can see that, there isn't a lot of side to side. That's unfortunate with a character like this. When you're doing martial arts poses and moves and things like that, you're going to be moving your neck around a lot, and the side to side is definitely hampering him. Up and down looks pretty good. The down, much better than the up, because again, we're contending with the hair and the bandana. Not much we can do about that without completely changing his hairstyle, which, you know, I guess would have been up for debate, but I like how this looks. This looks good. I want to put his backpack on, see what that looks like, and sure enough, that's a good-looking backpack. I think it kind of loses something. I think he needs to have the sash if you're wearing the backpack, because how is that attached to him? I don't know. Let's put his sash back on. And to do, again, the sash, we need to remove his head sculpt, and then we need to orient these the way that they go. There we go. So there's his sash, and we'll put his head back on. We'll put that alternate head sculpt back on. And now we'll put the backpack on, and I think this is going to make a lot more sense for the figure, and wouldn't you know, it absolutely does. It looks like it's slung around him, and it gives the sash a little more meaning behind it, right? It's like a mono strap for a backpack rather than just he has a sash full of ninja stars. But let's try to see how posable he is. Oh my gosh, yes, he is very posable. This is going to be a very great character if anybody's into photography, especially with martial arts style figures. I could see him posing very well with some of the Street Fighter stuff that I do have, but I haven't quite opened yet. And here we go. Here's some of the hands, as I talked about. We have these knife hands, these karate chop hands for both left and right. And we also have the closed fist, the traditional punch with each of those. And here is a really close-up look. Oh, that's a too close-up look. This is a close-up look at the Ninja Star blast effect. This looks good. I like the ghosting effect. We're going to put him in some poses with that. And here we have the chocolate bar. For as small as this accessory is, they really went out on all the details with this. Did they miss some of the paint application? Yeah, but you know what? It's forgiving. To put that much effort behind something so small, that definitely deserves a lot of credit. In the nunchucks, and like I mentioned, I wish Nunchuck would have had some silver accents on his nunchucks versus just the all-black ones, but, you know, he could use these. He could use these. The butterfly joints on G.I. Joe classified figures have been getting better. I went through some of the older figures, some of the earlier waves, and they weren't all that mobile. Compared to now, the butterfly joints are so much better. This one seems a little more stuck, but you can give it a little crunch there. And let's see, he can definitely do a lot of ab crunching. And is he like on a ball socket? Yeah, so you can also move his torso round and round. You do have to worry. I just hit the tips of his swords on these nunchuck holders. So you got to be careful if you got his backpack on. I'm guessing a lot of people will not be using his backpack. Yeah, I mean, everything about this figure so far is really well posable, really well movable. I think they did an admirable job of taking, and admittedly, like, and this is not a knock against him, a plain figure, right? Like, not a whole lot to him, a lot of character, but also modernizing him for the classified line in areas where they could, where it made sense, while retaining some of the iconic features that make Quick Kick Quick Kick. I mean, he has to have the bare feet, he has to have the sash. I think those are some of the really big features of Quick Kick, and they retained those. They modernized them just a little bit. They also gave us some blast effects and some other weapons that really make this character stand out. Complaints on this are really just very few and far between. So let's get some final thoughts on him. And oh, yes, let's take him over, get some cool poses maybe. All right, quick kick. We got to kick ourselves out of here. Are you ready? All right, quick kick. Time to kick. Ready? Go. Woo! So that's Quick Kick for you. This is a really cool figure. I like the fact that he is just so posable. When you have a figure whose whole specialty is martial arts, you would expect that from him. And the crazy thing is, the only minor complaint I have about his whole posability is the neck. It's just a little limited, but it's not enough where it's like, oh, you're finished, Quick Kick. No, like, he's a really good, solid figure overall. Quick Kick is one of those instances where looks can be deceiving. When I initially pulled him out of the package, I wasn't quite sure how much I would enjoy the figure, but as I got to play with him more, as I got to pose with him more, I realized that he had just enough accessories, he had just enough posability, and he had just enough of the classic style infused with some of that classified, bringing the G.I. Joe slightly into the future look that makes him a really good character. That's everything that I have for you with Quick Kick. Thank you so much for watching. And if you are somebody who likes G.I. Joes, if you're somebody who likes Nerf or collecting toys in general, cool pop culture stuff, please be sure to consider following along. And if you are in a position to help this channel grow, fund it. I have options starting at 99 cents a month that you can help guide the direction of the channel. All right, thanks for watching. See you next time.